Well, that did not take long at all. It's only been a month since Zoran Mamdani was inaugurated as New York City's mayor, and as you can see, even his own voters have turned against him. His first month has been very rocky, but the final straw for a lot of people was the city's response to the blizzard that came through. 16 people have died, and the response just has been slow and terrible, as you're about to see here. One of the loudest critics of Mamdani is Michael Rappaport. If you're not familiar with him, he's an actor. He has over 2 million followers on Instagram, 670,000 on X, and this is what he posted online, just absolutely brutal.
Look at this Look at this This poor bastard ain't getting out until the spring. Look at this dirt a week after the snowstorm. Look at this dirty home. Look at this. I don't know what this guy's gonna do. This guy, call your insurance company. Look at this dirt. Where's the mayor to clean this up? They got garbage everywhere, dirty snow. What do you do with this? Where's your shovel now, Mamdani? Look at this. You know how many people fall, break their ankles? Look at this. This is New York. Start spreading the news. And this is on the Upper East Side. 3 minutes from where the mayor lives. Look at this guy. Look at this. Look at this. This guy's never getting. Look at.
And to be fair here, a lot of people have pointed out that New York City does not claim responsibility for getting people's cars out. The city will plow the roads, but it's each owner's responsibility to shovel the snow and ice from around their cars. But the reason a lot of New Yorkers are mad about this is because Mamdani did a photo op last week. He took a shovel and he showed himself attempting to shovel a car out of the snow. He was doing it very poorly, just terrible form all around. But, you know, he puts out this image, and that's what communists and socialists do. They try to sell you with this propaganda, but it never comes to fruition. This is what the warmth of collectivism looks like. No one's helping, and the problem with everyone expecting someone else to do something is that no one ends up doing anything. Now, to me, the issue isn't just the cars being surrounded by ice and snow, but it was the garbage mountains that you saw in the background. These are rat-infested garbage mountains. It's just gross. Take a look at this footage from the New York Post. According to the Post, these garbage mountains are reaching up to 8 feet in height in some areas, and they are rat-infested. So this is obviously a sanitary issue, could potentially turn into a health crisis, and as you can see, it just goes on and on. This isn't just a single neighborhood, by the way. It is widespread throughout New York City. The last time this happened was during COVID, and that was understandable because obviously the world shut down and people weren't going into work, and that included many of the city workers, but this had come under control. So for the city to be flooded with garbage right now is just a testament to the lack of leadership and how quickly the city is falling under Zoran Mamdani. Now, to make matters worse for the city, they actually do have garbage cans, right? It's the question everyone should be asking is, why are people just throwing this on the road? Why isn't it put into the cans and taken out? Well, believe it or not, New York City did not always have garbage cans, and it was only in July 2024 when the city came up with its first ever municipal garbage can pickup program. This is Eric Adams unveiling these garbage cans. There you go, Eric Adams showing off the first ever city garbage can. He's really excited. This is one of the last big things he did before he left office, showing everyone how it works. And again, Mamdani has barely been in office a month, just a month and a day. And apparently New Yorkers have already forgotten how to use these garbage cans, and they're just reverting back to putting things on the streets. It's gross, it's disgusting, and as one of the largest cities in the world and the largest city of America, it should be embarrassing for everyone, right? I can only imagine people coming over from Europe or Asia or Australia, wherever they're coming from, you know, to see what America is all about, to experience life here. And imagine them going to New York City, imagining this huge, you know, just mega city. And there's trash everywhere. It's unkept. It's embarrassing, quite frankly. I'm embarrassed for them. I'm embarrassed as an American. And I would imagine if I lived in New York that I'd be especially embarrassed of the mayor. And I think that's why he's already being heckled. That's why he's already being shouted at by people who voted for him. Well, unfortunately, it's not just New York City. There was a huge ice storm, the same system actually, that hit Nashville, Tennessee. The storm started in the southwest and it moved through the southern plains, passing through Tennessee until it reached New York. But in Tennessee, The temperature wasn't cold enough for it to be snow. It came down as freezing rain, and it froze everywhere. Trees were coming down, power went out, hundreds of thousands without power, and as of the making of this video, about 90,000 people still without power. Keep in mind, that's a week ago when this passed through. So just an absolute disaster. But before we get into that, I would like to thank the members of today's Governor's Club. They are Rhodes, Villabo, Super Romer ×2, Bama Riddenauer, Liz Carla, Kathleen Ide, always good to see you, the Herrings, 3. These are people who give tips and super thanks to the channel. I'm glad that you enjoy, and I'm glad that you're here. Now, take a look. This is from downtown Nashville. As you can see, just ice everywhere. This is not snow on those trees. It's, the branches aren't covered with snow. The city ended up getting 0.75 inches of ice, and it took down the trees, which took down power lines, and that's what led to these huge power outages everywhere. Now, it wasn't just downtown Nashville. It was actually all of Middle Tennessee. This right here is Brentwood, which is one of the suburbs, and as you can see, it looks like almost this Arctic tornado came through, just trees down, branches down. A lot of people in the area started referring to them as, quote, exploding trees, just because when the branches fell, the sound was so loud, and it was just like this ear-shattering, just whoosh. Obviously, that wasn't a good attempt, but you get the idea. But you can see here, it's just as far as the eye can see, and you go down every road, and apparently it just looks like this everywhere. Now, the reason people are upset, not just, the fact that power is still out, it got to below freezing, it was in the single digits, it even got down to 0 degrees. This led to people dying. 21 people died in Tennessee, 4 within Nashville proper, and unfortunately, that count is likely underestimated right now. But the reason people are upset is because NES, which is Nashville Electric Service, they are the only provider of electricity in the city, and they actually redid their company to be more woke. So last year alone, they reduced by $7.5 million their budget to trim trees. And that's what happened here. Because they didn't trim the trees, the ice storm took down everything with it. And does that not remind you of what happened in California? Right? California had these huge forest fires, and a lot of the issue that happened is, well, aside from the water, they didn't do any forest management because they wanted to be green. They wanted to protect the environment. But what happened was they helped fuel a natural disaster, and clearly that's what happened in Nashville. On top of that, take a look at this. NES, Nashville Electric Service, held over 100 DEI training sessions last year. So they invested all of this money into DEI instead of investing it into infrastructure, into more linemen who could go around. It's just an absolute disaster. Now, people, like I said, are still without power, and what's worse is these power-hungry HOAs are preventing people from using generators to heat their own homes.
With the wires going through.
But Talia says just hours after they got everything ready inside and fired it up, she got an email from their HOA management company, Metropolitan Properties.
Please remove it immediately.
Talia couldn't believe they were threatening to fine her, saying the generator was a fire hazard and doesn't fit their aesthetic.
Super angry because why is that even a possibility right now? Why do they care so much when people are just trying to stay warm and survive?
While Nashville and the South are going through this crisis, because it is an ongoing crisis, not just in Nashville and Tennessee, but also in Mississippi. I mean, trees down, power out with cold temperatures. Well, Gavin Newsom is using this moment to try to boost his political standing. We all know he plans on running in 2028, so this is clearly a political maneuver, but he wrote, "I'm deploying an emergency response team to help Tennesseans in the aftermath of last weekend's snowstorm. California will always answer the call to support our fellow Americans." Well, there is just one problem with that statement. He's misrepresenting what happened. So there is a federal incident management team based in California, and the federal government deployed that team to Tennessee. So it wasn't Gavin Newsom, it wasn't a state or volunteer operation. No, it was a federal operation. They just happened to have a team based in California, and they sent them out. And so there you go. That is Gavin Newsom attempting to really manipulate and lie to the public for his own political gain. It's really nasty. Well, some of you may be fans of John Rich. He is a country artist, and he pointed out, hey, Reese Witherspoon, who lives in Nashville, and him, they have different political views, but he said they are on the same page as far as this winter storm. Reese Witherspoon posted this on Instagram, talking about how many hundreds of thousands without power, just impassable roads. Like I said, you take a look on this bigger picture, it really looks like an Arctic tornado came through. Now, as of the making of this video, 30,000 customers or households are still without power. If we take a look at the census data, we do know that an average household is about 3 people. So 3 times 30,000 is about 90,000 people. Basically 100,000 people in Nashville still without power over a week after this storm came through. And keep in mind, again, temperatures got as low as 0 degrees, single digits. It's just terrible all around. This is John Rich talking about what's going on.
We found out Nashville Electric Service, their CEO, Teresa Boyles, last year cut $7.5 million out of the budget to trim the trees. So Tennessee covered in trees. Dane, I know you come here a lot. And so instead of NES trimming our trees, God decided to trim our trees with an ice storm. And so now you have trees laying all over the place. And there's a lot of people actually seriously in harm's way right now. We've got single digit temperatures hitting over the weekend, and houses have been without power now for 6 days. So you know what that means. I mean, it is dire, and there's so many neighbors that reached out to me. We've been running our chainsaws, helping people every which way we can. But this is an incompetence on a level kind of like what you saw in California when they didn't have enough water to put out the fires.
I was just thinking that, because if you don't do the maintenance in the times when the weather is good, then when the weather gets bad, you could have a situation like this. So
that's right. In an emergency is not the time to plan. That is something that takes foresight and investment. And clearly, New York, Nashville, they did not pay attention to what happened in California, and now they have to pay the price. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So both these stories were on my radar for a bit, and I didn't cover them because obviously there was so much going on last week in Minneapolis, and I feel like Minneapolis and the whole debate around ICE really sucked all the oxygen out of the media, and that was all everyone was talking about. So that's why I wanted to make a video on these two topics today. With that being said, what are stories that y'all are interested that you think aren't being talked about, or that you would like me to cover here on the channel? I want to be more proactive. I see your comments, I get your emails, and I promise I create a list, and I try to be as timely as possible. So if I don't get to your idea, it's not because I didn't see it or not because I didn't like it, but because the news cycle moves too quickly, and I said, hey, I need to cover something else that just came up. But with that being said, yeah, what is maybe an underreported story, or a story you think deserves more attention but it's just not getting? Let me know down in the comments, or for those of you who have been emailing me, you can always feel free to reach out that way or via Facebook and X. I look forward to seeing your ideas, and I'll see you next time. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.